met a man in a metal cage, reaching for the sky. You feel the grass would feel like paradise to him, but obstacles.
So now we've come into the building, Nick, and hopefully a little less noise now.
Yeah.
This is looking pretty nice in here, isn't it?
It's a beautiful room, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been a writing room for anybody who wanted to write music.
Well, so a creativity room, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as I understand it, from our conversations so far, you've been to planning for a building.
That's right, yeah.
When you were 3/4 of the way through the building?
When we're finished all outside, and then it was just second fix and electrics and the heating.
So did the council come before you started the building?
At no time.
And so they didn't instruct you. They agreed your planning permission for this building,
That's right, yeah.
but never turned up on site whilst you were constructing the building.
No.
So we had no supervision from the council whatsoever.
No supervision.
No guidance on the ground.
No guidance.
No, right, okay. So you came along here. You've got planning permission. You started building, and at what stage did the council turn up?
We had an enforcement officer turn up here on August 2013.
And when did you start the building?
We started building in 2011.
Okay. And when he turned up, what was his view on the building? Did he say anything to you at the time?
He saw there was a few mistakes in his opinion, but he said, I won't mention his name, but what he actually said was, look guys, I don't think you've got any problems. I think you can get this with retrospective planning.
Right, okay.
Which he probably will deny now.
Okay, well, you know, denial or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, you carried on building and working on the building. And at what step?
After
his visit?
After his visit, everything came to stop. I didn't let anybody on site at all.
Okay. After his visit, you stopped building?
Yeah, totally stopped.
Right. So what's the next step?
Then we had an enforcement notice put upon us.
Yeah.
And the enforcement notice said it has to be, and the fallback position is, as I know now, the fallback position, it has to be knocked down. All materials have to be taken off the site. The footings have to be taken out. The bank have to be levelled, and the ground has to be put back as it was before. Not as it was before, but it has to go back as a field.
Okay, so this building will no longer exist. It'll go back as a field. For what purpose? What will they do on the? Or what? Did you own the field?
I own the field.
Okay.
Yes.
What will you do with this field when your dream of a studio for creative purposes, and which we'll go on to later?
Yes, yeah.
What will you do on this green field?
I'm not allowed anything.
Okay, so you won't even have a cow grazing on here then?
I'm not allowed anything without planning permission.
Okay.
Which will be rejected.
Right, okay. Can we stop for a moment and give you a breather?
Yes, sure.
For the moment, if we can. What I'm going to ask you now is, had your dream been passed by, although we know it was passed by the planners, passed by authority. What was the purpose of this building?
The purpose, which I want, was for music. I wanted to create a studio, which I've been wanting to do for many years, based on a studio in London called Abbey Road, which the Beatles worked at, and it was Studio 2, and I always wanted that in this area because it's such a great building and such great sound, and I wanted to create that sound and have a building very much like that, and I wanted it totally disabled friendly, so as any musician would come here, even if he had a keyboard, he could get into this building without any problems. And also obviously for me, because I've been in a wheelchair for a lot of years now, and I wanted it totally disabled friendly. As you can see by the doors, the width of the doors, and everything is totally flat in this room, so as a musician has got no problem in working in here.
So what you're talking about here is a facility for disabled people in Wiltshire.
Yeah, musicians.
I mean, down to, as far as I understand it in Wiltshire, I mean, disabled people are not particularly catered for.
Definitely not.
It would have been so easy for them to have said, Nick, we can work together on this because you're building this for the community of Wiltshire.
And the young musicians.
And young musicians. More people know about what's happening. Now, as I understand it, the order that was granted to Wiltshire Council to demolish this building, for you to demolish the building, went to High Court.
It went to High Court, yes.
Even though you'd got planning permission.
Yeah.
It went to High Court. You had a barrister.
Yeah, I did, yes.
And the barrister obviously didn't prove your case.
No.
And the judging on the case decided that this building had to come down.
Exactly, because the judge actually said, which is wrong, that I didn't have planning permission.
Okay.
He's a star he's reaching for, but he cannot understand. He wants so much to see above. You can't go up, you can't go down. He's looking round. He leads a life of obstacles, obstacles. Obstacles, obstacles.